We done made it on down to Greensboro, North Carolina. Lord have mercy. I hope y'all gonna have a good time watching the show tonight. Hey fam, what's up? This is Robert Anton here, robertanton.com, coming to you with your no frills commentary from a singer. We are talking about X Factor tonight. It was night 4 of the X Factor auditions in Greensboro, North Carolina. And we started out with a bunch of junk going on, right? But one thing that happened that I thought was pretty nice was Simon stopped by someplace. A woman took him to go to a restaurant to get him some grits. And let me tell you, I had some grits this morning with some cheese in it. It was so good. So I had to point that out. Of course, it made him late and made everybody else late. But I'm glad that you got to try some grits. Simon grits are delicious and I love them. Tell me if you love them. Willie Jones was up first. He was 17. He did Your Man by Josh Turner. Okay, let me tell you. This boy, he started doing some Scotty McCreery on him. You know what I'm saying? And he surprised everybody by doing the country song, right? And actually sounding pretty good. He didn't really have the deep voice for the bottom parts, you know. He was really trying to manufacture it down there. But he sounded pretty good to me. LA said he's an absolute original. Demi said he's really likable. Simon said this is why he wanted to come to Greensboro. And his voice is a sensational recording voice. And I talked before about these low voices. We are not getting enough of them on these shows. And here we have a nice low voice. He's not down there with Scotty McCreery, you know, but he had a really nice, solid baritone voice. And I really enjoyed it. Some guy, Calvin Manamakamika, I wrote this guy is comic relief or something. The audience didn't clap when he finished. He barely spoke English. I don't know what he was saying. I was just like, and all the judges look at him like, what is he saying? And when he's saying, of course, none of them understand anything he's saying. I don't know what song he was singing. If you guys know, please tell me so I can go and check it out and see what it really sounds like. He just had a really, really thick, no teeth. You know, 1 or 2 teeth up in his mouth, thick accent, nobody understood him, really old guy. And like I said, he's probably put on there for comic relief. Next up was Julia Bullock. She was 18. She did Pumped Up Kicks by Foster the People. And they were giving her the rah-rahs because she's in a band. And, you know, they did a whole segment of how one of the band members was her ex-boyfriend and they didn't want her to leave and all this good stuff. So, naturally, she had a great voice. Sounded good, she had a good look, she had a nice style and all that, and she was just shining on stage while she was performing. Beautiful smile. I was loving it. Simon stopped her pretty quickly, didn't let her go on for too long, and the audience was really into it. Simon said he was one of her favorites so far. Britney said she had a unique sound and she's a star, and Demi said she's super talented. Of course, she got 4 years to go through. Next up, we had Kristen Cologne. She was 21. She did Don't You Remember by Adele. And she was shaking like a leaf and her little leg was just going. And she sounded pretty good to me on this. But I was like, something's, you know, when is she going to like open up and all this good stuff? So Simon stopped her and I thought they were just going to go ahead and vote. And if they voted on this, I really think they were going to vote her through. So he stopped her and he said, you know, she was doing like a sound-alike version, basically karaoke. And he asked her to come back later. And she's like, no, I could do something else. He said, no, come back later. And I'm like, why would he have her come back later? They have never done that before. Like her leave the stage and come back again to audition after she learned a different song. Don't they have like 4 or 5 songs to choose from when they get up on stage? So if they need another song. So we being set up. That's all I got to say. While Kristen was off trying to learn a new song, you know, and trying to memorize things and writing out lyrics and all this good stuff, we had Jeffrey Adam Gutt come up. He's 36. He did Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen. And he started singing and I wasn't crazy about his pronunciation and the way he was producing his sound, but he definitely had something different and strange about his tone. So the females in the audience started standing up for him like pretty early on while he was singing. And he took this song to places I had not heard anybody else take it. It was really different. He had his own thing with it. And I was actually enjoying it. His sound was kind of, you know, just the way he was pronouncing things was really getting to me a little bit. But I wrote, definitely not a perfect presentation, but he was totally invested in it. LA said he's a fan. Demi said he has an amazing grit to his voice. Simon said it was one of the most brilliant auditions that he had heard. He got 4 yeses naturally, and I stand by my thing. There was something about the way he was producing the tones that was just like not, it was kind of strained, but he really did have a very different take on this song that I have heard many, many, many times, and I enjoyed that. They had a bunch of people going through because they had all kind of crazy stuff going on, so I'm gonna try to get through this really quick. Marcello Penn was on stage crooning to the judges. Ooh, baby, baby. Not very well, of course, almost as bad as I just did it. And the lights went out for the first time because they were getting thunder and lightning. And I guess, lightning hit one of their generators or something and the lights went out. So Byron Edwards came up and tried to sing over the weather. He was pretty bad. He was doing Chasing Pavements. It was not very good. So they had to, finish with him. He's no good. So they had Kristen Cologne come back. She came up to do I Have Nothing, Whitney Houston. Again, her voice was very shaky as she started out. And she was a little behind the music. She was trailing behind. It's what's called back phrasing, but it was not that she was actually phrasing. It was just that she was behind the music. And when she hit the chorus, it was obvious that she wasn't going through. She was not going to make it. It just was not good. So I wrote, even she knew it. I mean, she just did not have the confidence, and she was... I was like, when is he going to stop her? Why is he letting her keep going, right? So again, I wrote, she knew it. She had to. She had to know that this was not going well. So then they got hit with a few bolts of lightning and thunder or whatever, and the judges all voted for her. They were just like, okay, no, we got to stop. We got to stop. And they all voted no for her. Then she went crazy. I don't know what happened to her. She came on stage and she got all mad and upset and she throwing water at the camera and stuff like that. She picked up a chair like she was going to hit somebody. They started calling security, telling her she had to leave the theater. And I was like, I'm sorry. I am sorry. This girl, this was a show. This was a show. I'm sorry, X Factor. There is no way that this girl went from this to that, I mean, just off the chain crazy that fast. And she is the first one ever to be told, okay, go away and come back. Come on. Tell me what you guys thought. That was the end of the show. It was only 1 hour show today. And I was just like, I don't believe it. It's just so unbelievable. Manufactured drama. Even though it was still funny and it was still crazy. And I was still sitting there like, what? What the? Did you enjoy the show? This is Robert Anton here. I'm out. It just didn't add up.